what to do. At the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Wow! Nice. Good jump, Gabriela.
Thank you.
You got some hops.
I'm an expert.
Yeah. All right, I got some hot takes on the way Latinos, Latinxers, Hispanics, whatever word you want to use, the way we're represented in media and entertainment. I know you guys too. So that brings us to today's big deal. The way Latinxers are portrayed in the media today in entertainment is a big deal for us because half the time I don't even think we're being portrayed at all. That's my problem.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? And then the way that we're portrayed sometimes is like a little stereotypical. They don't really understand the nuance.
It's always stereotypical.
Wait a minute. Well, ladies first, go ahead.
Okay, no, it is always stereotypical. I mean, we're maids, we're drug dealers, rape. Like, we just constantly doing what we shouldn't be doing, right? And I think it's gotten to the point where we're tired of it. We're not represented the way we should be, who we really are. We're hardworking Latinos. We have more to us than what is just portrayed.
We're hardworking maids and we're hardworking gangsters.
O sea, en verdad salió mal, ¿verdad? Pero, no, pero hay más, we're lawyers, we're doctors, we're athletes, we're actors, we're writers. Like, there's so much more to us than what the media has constantly portrayed, and I'm tired.
Well, I don't feel tired. I don't know if maybe because I have a very ethnically ambiguous look, as they call it here in Hollywood, but I never go out for the maid roles. I don't ever go out for the gangster roles. I usually go out if you're looking for a doctor or a nurse, yes, I usually go out for those types of roles.
You're so nurturing. That's why you get the nurse role. Yeah, but are you playing Latino?
Well, yeah, I mean,
or an ethnically ambiguous character.
Ethnically ambiguous. I don't think my face gives off gangster.
Okay, but you're talking. I think you're. Yeah, that's funny. I think you're talking about the way that you have an opportunity behind the scenes. I'm talking about when you see a Latino character on screen.
Right.
How are they being portrayed? Now, I have a different take on this. My thing is actually quantity right now over quality, because they came out with a study that showed that we're 3 or 4% of speaking roles, Latino characters, obvious Latino characters are 3 to 4.
This is a 12-year study. I'm I feel like in the past 12 years, this study was done over over a span of 12 years. I think in that time span, right now, 2019, we are seeing more Latinos in the media than ever before, I think, and more prominent figures.
Yeah, well, I mean, because that movement is finally happening. We're tired. We're done with it. I feel like within those 12 years or even more, we weren't ever portrayed. We weren't put in this ethnically ambiguous category. Okay. It was literally you're coming in for that Mexican role. You're coming in for that Cuban role.
I was talking to you about whether you even identify as Latinx or Latin, or you identify as Mexican. Tell me your feeling about how you see yourself.
I respect anyone that feels that they fall into the category of Latinx. I grew up in a very Hispanic Latino community, so I never felt outside of the media that I was not represented the right way. I grew up feeling mexicana, la cultura mexicana, those are las raíces de mis padres. I wasn't born in Mexico, I was born here, but I feel so Mexican just because I was brought up in such a Mexican household, family, friends.
So you feel specific, because I also dealt with this, growing up in Miami, I grew up in a very Cuban community, and I got to know other Latinos, whether in Miami there's a lot of, Colombians, Venezuelans, Puerto Ricans, and here I got to know, a lot more Mexicans. But now is when I'm kind of getting in touch with my Latino, Latinx, Hispanic broad view, where I'm okay, we all got to team up together. But I did grow up being told I was Cuban specifically a lot. So I kind of see how Cubans are being portrayed, But now I feel inclined to make sure that other Latinos, whether they're Cuban, Mexican, whatever, are being portrayed. I don't care so much whether it's a villain. I don't mind the villain roles.
I don't mind the villain roles
I actually like Narcos, and I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna explain really quick. But what's your take on? For me, it's about power. If you're showing a powerful character and they happen to be evil, I'm actually kind of okay with that.
Even if he's of somebody that's doing something illegal.
Yeah, I know that's stereotypical, but as long as they show him powerful, good. Do you have a quick take on that, and then I'm gonna get into it a little deeper. Do you like playing the villain? Because you're Scorpio, so I imagine that you can play the villain anytime.
You're one of those people. Okay, we're going to get to that. You're one of those people.
I mean, I don't see anybody complaining about Jennifer Lopez and Cardi B playing strippers. I mean, hello.
Yeah,
because they're Jennifer Lopez and they're Cardi B and they're big stars. Oh, it's a little bit.
Right?
Wasn't Cardi B an actual stripper in real life?
So she was, yeah.
Wasn't it her story? No, it wasn't her story.
No, it was inspired.
It was inspired by her story.
Because she just got caught with something like that, right?
Well, she admitted to it. She admitted to scamming and hustling guys that she was
before the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my theory on the Narcos thing. So I was watching it, and I have a lot of Colombian friends, and there was mixed feelings. There was some Latinos that are like, we don't want to be portrayed as drug dealers.
Right.
I go, I understand. But number one, the way that they portray, they portray a lot of street thugs and narcos, but they also portray like the bosses, and they portray them as capable, intelligent, powerful, capable, sophisticated.
Well, but then that's the other thing.
But evil. So I'm kind of okay with all that stuff as long as they show them as smart, capable. But if you're gonna make them a villain, look, that actually happened, you know? So,
right.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree. But then a lot of people are like, you're like kind of putting these people on a pedestal. You're kind of making them seem. I mean, there's many dimensions to a character.
You're afraid of glorifying them.
Exactly. They say that they're glorifying the characters. I don't know why. I've never really saw it that way. I actually kind of enjoy all of these like narco novelas, especially like on the Spanish language channels. I don't know why. I just kind of like those mobster movies or shows.
It's the evil in us. No, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to be like, I don't want us to be portrayed in that light. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, this is what we do and this is what we all just are known for. But at the same time, it's so hard because they're just so addicting to watch. Yeah. And I mean, it was history. It's not like they just made up this story and they said, here, Colombians are drug dealers. Right. No, this was like an actual story of someone.
Have you seen the Narcos Mexico?
No la he visto completa.
Okay. What do you think of like narco corridos and you know, within the Mexican culture, you can call it glorification, you can call it, you know, they're gangster rap. You know, gangster rap is people, it's very controversial, but some people in the African community or the Latino community here see it as empowering. So it's a mixed bag. Like, how do you feel about like narco corridos and that kind of stuff?
I am not a big narco corrido fan. I'm not.
But is it because the music is
I can probably listen to the instruments more than I like to hear the voice.
Okay.
It's a lot about the singer and like just the lyrics. Like, you know, you don't want to be portrayed in a certain light, but here you are just constantly singing and talking about ay correos y muerte y patadas y bolazo.
But people seem to like it too because
no,
they
people
sell so
love
much.
it. They love it, and it's kind of like, I don't know. A mí me gustan las baladas, you know, el romance que hablen de amor.
But is there,
I like
something?
I like to bump that booty, you know.
Perreo.
But you know, look, Dennis, you were talking about. Okay, we're talking about the study. By the way, it's the USC study that they did. By the way, half the study doesn't even really reference Latinos. It was just one part.
Right.
And then a couple of organizations like NALIB, National Organization for Latino Independent Producers. No, they said, look, we represent 18% of the population, you know, Latinos in general, and clear Latino characters are 4% of the speaking roles. That's such a disproportionate. Listen, I'm the kind of person, I don't want to call racism every chance we get because it's kind of like the boy that cried wolf. But this is such an obvious disproportionate unfairness. This is such a huge gap that other communities have closed. We haven't. Why do you think
we're
that
still
is?
a minority within the majority of this country, if anything. It's unfortunate, but I think sometimes Latinos we're not really taking those executive roles that we need so that we can put ourselves in.
We need to be the writers and producers and all that stuff like here on TV.